Let me just switch this over. Hey! All right, so we're live on YouTube and Facebook, and we're live on Instagram. Now, normally, this is Indies Live. It's a Q&A session. A member of our staff goes live to answer, the questions of independent creatives out there. Normally, this is just for our Indie Pro members, our Indie Pro membership service, $37 a month membership service that includes all of our training and these live sessions and live trainings. But because everyone's at home right now and you're looking to learn and you're looking to advance your creative career right now, and everyone could use a fucking break if I'm not mistaken, we're going to just open source this. This is all public, so we're going to answer as many questions as possible, given that this is now open to the entire public. Anyone can come in and ask a question. I'm going to start with our Indie Pros, which is going to be in our Indie Pro member area. There's a version of this stream. So I'm going to start with those guys, and then we're going to move on to just general public questions. So stick with us. If you have a question, leave it in the comments wherever you're watching, and we'll get to it. So I'm going to start off with the Indie Pros questions, starting off with Carlo Feli, and let's show him if we can. Yep, there he is. Thank you so much for this. Oh, wait. I don't have audio input on this channel. Let me just switch that real quick. All right. I'm live streaming, babe. All right, cool. So Carlo asks, thank you so much for this. Indie Pro is by far the best thing I've ever invested in for my music marketing career. Thank you, Carlo. I have a question for this week's Indies Live session. I posted something on my Facebook page that's more suited as education content. It's a 1:12 aspect ratio video of me making a remix from a recent speech by our president in the Philippines. It ended up going quite viral with the help of a few targeted ads based on artist targeting from the Fan Finder training. Almost 2,600 shares and 19,095% viewers. What would you suggest be the best way to follow up and capitalize on this? I'm in the same boat as you, Circa, in the sense that my old music sounds quite different from my new stuff, and I'm still working on my first Fan Finder video. I'm thinking about following up with more educational content, like a preview, a beat from an upcoming song with a Fan Finder-esque video, using the green light boosting strategies, and simply ask them to like my Facebook page or follow me on Instagram. Suggestions are welcome, and thanks again. All right, Carlo. It sounds like you had a post go viral. That's awesome. Very rare circumstance to be in. I remember when we first started marketing Nino Bless, who was like the first case study for entrepreneurs, the first guy I worked with like digital marketing for musicians, really applying what I knew about business digital marketing to musicians. And he had gone viral. He had a post, like a political post that went viral on Facebook, and that kicked him off with like a huge following on Facebook. So what I would recommend that you do is you go on the post and you use the Chrome extension, invite all post likers to like page, and just invite them to like your page. You're going to want to, if you're going to follow up with those viewers, I would recommend that you do it with content that's in the vein of the conversation they entered with. So if they got into you because of this political post about the Philippines president, then you should probably follow that up with political content. I hope that helps. And yeah, I would get a Fan Finder out there ASAP. Brett Wade asks, hi, Kyle. Thanks for doing these. My first question is likely elementary, but here goes. When I look at my Facebook analytics, I see posts done directly from the page, but very few of my ads manager posts, if any, appear. I'm pretty sure I shared these posts to my page, but they were created in Ads Manager. Is there a reason you can think of they would not appear in my page analytics? Yes, chances are you didn't share them to your page. Because when you share them to your page, they become public posts. They show up in your page insights. So you probably didn't share them, Brett, is what I would imagine. Otherwise, I have no idea. Facebook's sometimes wonky. You can contact Facebook support, and they'll probably fix it for you eventually. But it's more likely that you just didn't publish the ad post. So I would check that out. On one of your podcasts, you seemed quite taken with Thrivecart. Did you ever follow through with getting the lifetime version? And if not, which cart did you find most useful? I'm asking this question from, thank you so much, babe. My wife just brought me delicious Diet Coke from Chick-fil-A. All right, so Brett is asking this question from the perspective of someone using WordPress and Thrive themes. I use WordPress, I use Thrive themes, and guess what? We just got Thrivecart. Now I can see that there's a low battery on my there's a low battery on my monitor right now, which means that the image is about to go down. So I'm going to switch to screen share for just a second for the peeps on YouTube and Facebook so that I can switch that battery. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so Brett, we did purchase ThriveCart because, as chances have it, we've been attacked over the last little while. We've been getting attacked by what are called carding bots. Basically, if you're a scammer and you steal credit card numbers, hold on, guys. Facebook and YouTube. If you guys go out, I'm very sorry, but we'll be right back. So we've been hit by carding attacks from scammers who steal credit card numbers and then try to validate if the credit card numbers are real by checking out on the websites of poor e-commerce providers like ourselves. And so we've just been getting screwed by carding attacks. We got ThriveCart because ThriveCart has built-in fraud protection, and we didn't have to worry about that anymore. And ThriveCart's great. It's great. It's a great solution. If you're on WordPress or you're using Thrive themes, I got to recommend it. ThriveCart's a great solution. I like it, but it's like we're in the position of having to recommend a cart solution to independent musicians who don't want to pay $5.95 just to be able to sell products, right? They'd rather go with probably like a small monthly fee to get set up selling products. It's a big jump to ask to plop down $595 for your first time selling products. So we don't recommend ThriveCart in a lot of scenarios. But we're happy with it. It seems to work very well. It does one-click upsells. It does order bumps. It's a much quicker checkout experience than Shopify. Shopify sucks. Change your checkout, guys. Not the Shopify is great, but like change your checkout experience. But yeah, we like ThriveCart. I'm gonna have to get on to other questions, Brett, because we got a lot of people, and 3's too many. You're breaking the rules. Josh Terry asks, hi, love Indie Pro, looking forward to Indie Founder. Josh, are you joining us in Indie Founder? Not us, but Corinne and Jesse in the next Indie Founder round. That's awesome. I've run 2 successful fan finders and an unsuccessful opt-in landing page campaign, messenger opt-in campaign, time window landing page and messenger opt-in campaign, and double fan finder viewer opt-in campaign. All of the failed campaigns, I've given several attempts at tweaked ad copy as well, and now I've lost steam and I'm not sure what to try next. Do I keep making different opt-in campaigns because that failed and I need one that works? Do I go back to the fan finder because I collected the wrong audience? Do I stay with the same campaign for a long time, more than a week? Is it just because I don't have any recurring media yet? Do I run education ads? I'm at a point of confusion after an initial success, not sure where to go from here. Thanks. All right, it really depends on how, okay, take me as a use case. For the last 9 months, I've been running fan finders on my own music, 2 songs only. I'm going to have like 30 songs out this year, as some of you may know, but I only have 2 songs out. I've been running fan finders and Spotify traffic on them for the last 9 months. For the next 9 months, I'm going to do the same thing because it makes no sense for me to start asking people to sign up for my email list when I just have 2 songs out and people have probably only really interacted with one. They don't really know who the fuck I am and they don't care. So you might be in my position where no one knows who you are and they don't care. And you just it takes a longer time. So if you've only, run one fan finder and that was it, then I would continue to run it. I would get new material out there. I would get recurring content in place and I wouldn't try to skip steps. You need a big top of funnel audience before you start drawing them into the middle of the funnel. So if you have a bunch of people, if you have 10,000 people who dig what you got going on in terms of they're willing to listen to it or check out your content, chances are you're only going to get like 1,000 email subscribers or maybe, 2,000. Like that's if you're very lucky. And, chances are you don't have 10,000 people at that stage on the top of the funnel yet, or maybe you do. But I could probably run opt-in campaigns right now, but it's probably not the copy. If you tried all these things, it's probably not the copy because you tried every method. It's not like it's the opt-in method or the copy or the offer. It's also offer problems. So you might have audience and offer problems. Depends on what your offer is. I don't know what your opt-in campaign offer is. If it's an ultimate album launch, how it's expressed, I don't know. But yeah, if you've gotten no signups, you probably have audience problems. So I would check that out, man. I would dedicate a longer portion of time to building up. If you're starting from cold zero, man, like I was in the beginning of last year, you have to take the presumption that you're going to be spending a while there. You're going to be spending a while building audience because, you really need to create a community. You're trying to create a community. No one wants to be the one of 20 that's interacting with an artist. People want to be one of thousands, generally. So I would build up more of a community on the front end before you go to the next step. Joel Rowland asks, I hope that helps. Hey, I would love for you to show any ad examples you guys have running for album launch. In the course, I appreciate all the theory, but a bird's eye view on what you're running today that is working would be so awesome to see. Thanks for everything, Team Entrepreneur. Okay, so our IndieX agency lead, Jack McCarthy, oversees all the agency accounts. So he's got a bird's eye view on all of the album launches being run. I know if I hit him up in Slack right now, he's going to tell me that, yeah, we ran one last month or we ran one 2 months ago for, whoever. So we're running it all the time pretty much to spec. We're not doing a whole lot different than what's in the training. Album launches still work when you've got the audience for them, 100%. There's nothing old about the strategy. There's nothing has really changed since we first built that strategy. I would say, and we went over this in a ground report. If you're in Indie Pro, go check out the ground report on why launches go bad. It's usually offer or audience problems. You didn't build up enough of an audience to actually have start building an email list, or it's not a very great offer. It's not communicated well. But yeah, any ad examples? Oh, ad examples. All the ad examples in the training are relevant too. But if you want, hit up Jack in the Indie Pro group. The new Indie Pro group, hit up Jack, tag him, be like, hey, can you show me just an example of some ads that have crushed it for opt-in lately? And he'll totally show you. Hope that helps. Laura Katana asks, hello, I have a question. I am preparing the fan finder method for a Spanish language rapper, and almost all of his sound-alikes don't populate as an option in Facebook. I guess it's too niche. Is it okay to use things instead of musicians as interests? 100%. 100% it's okay to target by things instead of musicians. The 502s are in here. What's up, 502s? I'm going to wave at Ed, if it's Ed, or maybe it's Jonathan. 502s were one of our first case studies. Ed, if this is Ed, someone just asked for examples of album launch opt-in ads that worked. And I was like, the agency's got them. I don't got them. Okay. So yeah, you can target things instead of musicians. You totally can. Just be careful with that. Just be careful because some things are very wide spectrum. So you really got to find things that really single out your audience. I hope that helps. Archer asks, hey, I have some important question. I think most of us artists are playing live shows. Personally, I have some strange situation in my niche. I am the pianist where the responses to my concert events on the Facebook are about 1 to 2K. Those people are buying tickets by another co-organizer, not by my fan page. Unfortunately, they are not going to my fan page. I'm saying during the show, please like my page, few likes. What about those 300 people? No one's liking. No one is liking his page from a show that has 1,000 to 2,000 respondents is what I'm getting from this. So 1,000 my top fans who are interested in my performance. What strategy and ad type do you suggest to run in that specific situation to activate these people to at least like my page and follow the next concert? All right. Okay. So here's one of the things that you got to think about. There are ways of targeting people that aren't inputting interests or creating lookalike or custom audiences. There are ways of targeting people that aren't the traditional way we think of targeting. One of my favorite marketers here in Orlando, Max Finn, of Unicorn Innovations, he talks about targeting with content. So if I run a video views campaign of some content that only a certain type of person is actually going to like, then I'm targeting with content, because people who aren't the right person aren't going to watch the video. So if I create a custom audience of 75% viewers, it's all people who like the video, all the right type of person. That's what we do with Fan Finder. Now, you can also target it. Basically what we learned there is that anyone you can get to watch a 75% or 50% of the way through a video is targetable. Okay. Now think of where you can post a Facebook video on Facebook that's not your page. Think about where you can share from your page to somewhere else. You can share from your page to an event on Facebook. You can share from your page to a group on Facebook. And when someone in that group or in that event board watches the video, you've got them in your custom audience. So that's how I would try. I would post a video to that event page. You can also post a link that goes to a page that you have a pixel on, and that will also end them up in a custom audience. So if you're looking to collect people, get them to see a piece of media that's on Facebook, or get them to go somewhere where the Facebook pixel exists, and you got yourself an audience. So I hope that helps. Best from Poland, what's up? I'm glad to see that we're reaching far and wide. Cole Davies asks, hey, Circa, I'm running a lookalike ad on Instagram for 75% viewers of my initial ad. My question is, what would be an ideal click-through rate? Loaded question. Right now, my total amount spent is $24.60 with a CTR of 32.32%. 26 cents per click, one cost per through play. I'm receiving a large amount of 50 and 75% viewers, but users watching the video and clicking to my page appears low. Any advice to make this better, or could it be the ad? All right, well, if you're running a lookalike ad on Instagram and it's got a button on it, my question is, what? There is no great click-through rate for cold audience when it comes to us musicians. If you're marketing to a cold audience and your first ask of them is click this button, the typical click-through rate is 0.00. So anything above that is a miracle. It's very rare for people to want to click on things from musicians they haven't heard of, don't know that they like, and frankly seem desperate because they're trying to get them off of the platform. Like, people can tell it's an ad because it's got a button in it. It's like, click this. So your 0.32% click-through rate is bad for industry standard, which hovers around 1% or less these days. But it's pretty great for the fact that you probably got the wrong objective here. Are you retargeting people? Because you said lookalike ads. So you're targeting cold audience members, asking them to click. Probably not a good idea. Only for someone, we have people in the agency who do cold sales and cold opt-ins, but they have years of advertising in their ad account. They have years of messaging, dialing in messaging. So, you can't beat that. Like, you're not going to do the same that they did if this is one of the first ads that you're running. So I would consider that. I would take the button off and then retarget 75% viewers with something with a button. Take the buddy system training if you haven't yet. Check that out. Brett. Oh, and question number 4, Brett. Come on. Come on, guy. I'll get back to it if there's time. Christy asks, hey, Kyle, thanks so much. Really finding so much value in Entrepreneur. We're very glad, Christy. Buddy system is genius and has given me so much clarity. It helps us out a lot, too. Question. So over half of my 30,000 Facebook likes seem to be fake or from click farms. I got these from running a worldwide page-like ad 2 years ago from the poor advice of a different e-course. I've heard that sentence 1,000 times since starting this. Isn't that crazy? Like, thousands of times I've heard people say, I took X's course and they told me to run a page-likes ad worldwide. No open targeting. Sucks. It sucks. Why are people doing that? Like, why would you make something that not only doesn't work, but is also bad for people's careers, and then sell it, and then continue to sell it? Fucking insane. Anyways, Christy asks, these likes def have a negative effect on my organic reach. Do they also mess up my paid reach? No. They won't if you exclude them. I would start with if you're if the only ad that you ran in this ad account, or the only ads that you ran were worldwide, and now you're starting fresh, make a new ad account. I probably would, because ad accounts learn, and it's just like, you're not losing anything, so you might as well just create a new ad account, new pixel, and just start fresh. But they shouldn't have an impact on your paid reach, even if you don't start a new ad account. You can just exclude any of your existing page likes from it. People in our group have also gone through and removed all the page likes, all the bot likes, by hand. Pretty impressive. So that's an option. Once I delete them all, will my page still be messed up, and would you recommend I need to start over with a new page? No, you're good. You can go with the same page. If I delete 1,000 likes a day, will that cause any negative flags on my account? Not that I'm aware of, but you should ask in the group. Ask in the group, because there's people in there who have done it. Ella asks, advertising. I just saw a question. I'm supposed to go through the Indie Pro questions first, but John Hansen Project asks, advertising account on Instagram. Your ad account on Instagram is your Facebook ads ad account. Facebook and Instagram, same thing. Facebook Business Manager is Instagram Business Manager. So go to business.facebook.com if you want to control your Instagram ads with an ad account. Ella asks, hi Kyle, the course is awesome. So much to learn from. Thanks for all the effort you put in. It's much appreciated. Hey Ella, we appreciate you for saying so. Ella said, here's my thought. I wonder how much it matters what currency I use when I pay ads. I can use a higher one or a very low one. Since I'm currently going between 3 countries, I see the end value of the ads differ whenever I change the currency. My question is, does this impact in any way since I am targeting specific locations in my ads? No. In fact, pick one currency and stick with it, because ultimately what happens is you're not going to get any triage. Is it triage or arbitrage? Whatever one. Arbitrage, you're not going to get any wiggle room between currency to currency, because they're not pricing it based with currency fluctuations. What happens is your CPM fluctuates. The cost you're paying for ads fluctuates on a second-by-second basis. It's constantly changing. It's dynamic. So you're not getting charged less for certain ads because of the currency. You're getting charged less for certain ads because you always get charged less or more for certain ads all the time. So I would not change currencies so often. I would just go with one currency. It doesn't matter where you're running it. Ultimately, Facebook is going to create a bill for you. And ultimately, Facebook, I shouldn't go into this because it's an hour conversation, but Facebook ads is an auction. We're going to be releasing a free Facebook ads guide for all my lockdown COVID-19 homies who, are stuck inside. We're making this Facebook ad guide free with a free lecture series that we're going to publish on YouTube. I'm going to get my Jordan Peterson lecture series on for you guys. But in that, we explain that Facebook ads is an auction. And when you're not buying ads, you're winning auctions for ads. So Facebook has a group of 1,000 people that fit the targeting that you defined. And it says, you want these? Okay, well, who else wants people like this? Anyone? And then 8 million other advertisers are like, I want those 1,000 people. And then Facebook's like, well, how much are you willing to pay? Because she said she would do for $2.50. And he's like, I'll pay $3. That's what I'm willing to throw down. And now you lose your bid. Or you say, no, my budget's $5. We can go as high as $5. And you beat that guy in the auction. Okay, now you bought this group of 1,000 impressions at a certain price. The price is agnostic to the currency. Doesn't matter what the currency is. At the moment that you win that bid, it takes a snapshot of what the currency differences are, and it says you paid this much, and what currency do you want us to display it to you in? You're really changing what they're showing you, not what it actually is. So I hope that helps. I worked really hard to avoid getting into a nerdy, narrow rabbit hole for you guys. All right, William Coase asks, hello, just started the buddy system today. As someone who has very limited music marketing knowledge, it is very useful and intriguing. Thank you, William. Thank you. I have a couple of questions, if that is okay. Hey, that's what we're here for, guy. I'm ready to answer your questions. Number 1, I have only released one original song on all streaming platforms. Do you think my social media posts, along with my lifestyle posts, should feature me doing covers of songs or play some original material? I want to build up my following on Instagram especially, so I wonder if I need to present who I am as an artist in order to engage new audience members' attention or those looking at my page. Either or, because ultimately, look, I don't want to get big off covers because I think that I can make pieces of media that get shared a lot. And people are like, this guy's crazy. Like, you should hear this song or you should see this video. I want to make one of those videos. That's my goal. But if you love doing covers and you have no qualms with being known for that, like Voice Alexander or whatever, like all these groups on YouTube, like do covers if that's what you want, because you can get successful doing that. You can also get successful with your own media. It just depends on what kind of person you are. Do you see, like, are you following tons of artists on Instagram and seeing the creative things that they do and being like, I need to create stuff like this and get it out there? I know that the Fader would think I was dope. Great. Do that. Don't do covers. But if you like covers and you don't have a fetish for like creating a world-beating piece of media necessarily, you just want to play music and find other people who like the same music, do it up. People get huge off of covers on YouTube. YouTube's your platform, though. That's the best place for covers. You want to build up your following on Instagram. Instagram's a tough place to do covers because you might get demonetized or they might like ban your post or whatever, because people have gotten copyright strikes. Now, Facebook and Instagram did a deal with all the record labels to be able to use their catalog, but in certain instances, very weird, random instances, those licenses are not valid and they give you like a copyright strike, or Universal smacks you down or whatever. So, you know, I wouldn't necessarily go cover heavy on Instagram unless you're getting licenses for these covers and you have some paperwork to show, you know, Instagram. If they slap you down, you can say, no. I purchased mechanical licenses for these, and that's valid in these circumstances. So go F yourself, Instagram. If you have that kind of, you know, attitude about it, go ahead. Number 2, would you recommend after completing your chosen artist pack to start learning about another, even if you are not at that stage? I am learning marketing as a new artist at the moment. William, in the words of Billy Madison, stay here. Stay as long as you can. That's what I'm doing. Stay in introduction and education as long as you can, because all too often people go, okay, ran a fan finder, let's go build an email list. It's like, that's not going to happen, guy. It's not how it works. Because the thing that people miss out on, and Jesse's going to be putting out a training on this later in the year, they miss out on the conversation. Because when I'm running these fan finders, I get to talk to people around the world. Like, I just can't believe that there's people out there who break down crying listening to one of my songs. Is that fucking nuts? And I get to talk to those people and learn what makes them tick and learn what it is about my music that they identify so much with. And then I know that. And then I can talk articulately about that to people who haven't heard it yet. And I can dig into that and I can make more content that really hits on those notes. But if I'm just running one, I did it, you know, I perfunctory performed this training that I bought, and now I built a little video that, like, it wasn't the best I could do, but I'm just trying to do this thing that this training said, and now I did it and I got a result. Okay, time to build an email list. You're missing out on the real magic of all this, which is you get to learn about who is going to like your stuff. That's the coolest thing in the world. So stay in introduction, run fan finders, run education content, build a recurring content channel. Figure out, and another thing you miss out on if you rushed into building an email list is figuring out your workflow for putting out new content, putting out recurring content, putting out podcasts or YouTube videos or Instagram content. If you're rushing headlong into email lists and sales before you even know how do I put out content each week, and beyond that, how do I be good at it? You're missing the whole boat. So don't rush headlong into the next step. Stay and learn. Learn how to put out content on a weekly basis. Learn how to talk to your audience. Learn what kind of content works best with these Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And only when you feel like I know these people and what I'm about to drop next is going to make their heads explode, that's when you go into email lists and sales, but not before. I hope that helps. Freddie Charles asks, hi, Circa. My question is, what happens next after we run a successful ad and get all the metrics on those that view 75%? Assuming we run another ad on those new lists, what are the CTAs for that next round? Spotify, email subs? Thanks. I think I just addressed that question. I forgot to mention Spotify, though. Stay in introduction, education, and if you really are just thirsting to run clicks ads, traffic ads, Spotify. You can build up your Spotify in the introduction and education stage as well. And then when people go to all your pages and go to your Spotify, they'll be like, there's a community here. There's people. There's people who share something deep that they're willing to share with the artists. That's where you want to be. So don't rush headlong into the next thing or the email list or the products. Like, stay as long as you can. And I'm not saying spend thousands of dollars every month. I'm saying figure out what you can spend on your social advertising on a monthly basis based on your your budget, and then only spend that. Spend low budgets learning, because you're not going to get another opportunity to learn like this. You're not going to. If you rush headlong into all this stuff, you're going to be dealing with a million other things. Here's an example. I don't need to worry about Creative Juice podcasts, getting out every week, because we built those systems and processes. We know how it works, right? I didn't move on to YouTube until Creative Juice was something that happens automatically. We know, we have a schedule, we have processes, we have copy, we have images. We know how Creative Juice, the podcast, gets out. So now we got some time. We can do a YouTube channel. That's, don't rush things. Don't skip steps is all I'm saying. Hope that helps. All right, we're done with the Facebook comments down below in the Indie Pro group. Now I'm going to get to those YouTube comments and some of these Instagram comments. So I'm going to be answering your questions from Instagram and YouTube now. All right. Okay. Chocolate Daddy asks, how do we get in touch with your IndieX agency if we want a one-on-one custom help with our campaign? You can hit us up at bit.ly/IndieX agency. You can also, if you're an Indie Pro member, you get discounted one-on-one consultations. And that probably more appropriate for what you're talking about. If you want just an hour-long consultation, you get it for cheaper than you would if you were like just an IndieX agency client. Obviously, it's limited. It's 2 hours per member per month that you can take advantage of, but it is like heavily discounted off of the price of agency. So that's probably your best bet. CRIXUS Productions asks, when assembling audiences from bands and artists that are similar to your music, can you assemble more than 7 to get that reach of 1 million? Some of the more niche audiences is hard to do with only 7. Sure. Yeah, do whatever you got to get the scale. As long as it is good data, as long as it's like you're not just throwing everything in there just to hit your numbers. What's up, Making It with Chris G? Chris G, it's been a while. Hit me up. Chris G's the man. He's got a fantastic podcast. Check out Making It with Chris G. He's the man. Stuart Pearson asked, just signed on last night. You probably explained this somewhere, but is it necessary to have an actual video to promote music on Facebook, or will just an MP3 of the music itself work? Probably not. No, it won't work. Get a video. Do you have a cell phone? How'd you make this comment? You have a computer? I know you got something because you commented on YouTube. Stuart, whatever you got, use it to create media. We're in the content revolution, the digital content revolution. There's so many ways to create media now, and people are willing to watch media of all quality types. I'm on Instagram right now in like God knows what, 720p. It sounds like shit. I'm on YouTube right now in 4K. No one cares. People on Instagram aren't rushing off to YouTube to go get the high quality stream. They don't give a shit, because our phones can create content now that go across the world. It goes across the whole world. So don't be lazy. Don't do an MP3. For the love of God, man. Come on. All right. I'm going to check out. Instagram does not make it easy to check out the comments. All right. Greasy Cupid. That's a great handle. Asks, hey, Kyle, love the courses. My fan finder's quality scores are low, bottom 20 to 35%. Is the ad still worth running, or should we start a new one with different creative? Could it be the audience? Probably not. Probably not the audience. Or it depends on how you think about it, right? Because it's probably the content. But maybe there is an audience for whom the content would be acceptable. But the copy, the content, when it hit the audience you targeted, they said no. So go back to the drawing, because like the thing is if it's the creative or the copy, you know it already. You know better than the people who are watching that it's that. you probably had some hesitations about even running it. You were like, is this good enough? I don't know. We tried. It's all right. Look, man, I filmed entire videos out of focus. It took me hours. And I just had to suck it up and go back and do it again. Sometimes it's just not good enough. And if that's the case, you know it better than anyone else is going to know it. So look inside yourself and ask, is this content good enough or is it the audience? Let me know. And I hope that helps. T. Cadell asks, I am a brand new artist with 2 new tunes in the can. I plan to make a vid for both as well. You recommend putting songs out somewhere before having all of these marketing tools and plans in place? Not really, no. I mean, you could, but ultimately, and we talked about this on a live stream on Instagram on Monday. By the way, guys, we're doing Indies Live Q&As every Wednesday, 2 p.m. They're open to the public for the entire month of April. I don't know if you guys caught that announcement, but these are going to be open to the public on YouTube, Facebook for the entire month of April. My camera's about to die. Oh, God. All right, I got to plug in my camera. Hold on. All right, YouTube, if my camera dies, I'm going to can we get focus or what? All right, cool. YouTube, if my camera dies, I will be back. Everything's out of battery. So yeah, you can put the songs out, but on Monday on Instagram, where I'm doing additional lives every Monday, 1:30 p.m. through the month of April, we spoke about the 3 questions you should ask yourself before you do anything in marketing, which is, where are new people going to come from, right? Like if I make a post on my personal Facebook profile, I don't have any reasonable expectation that anyone who's not already my friend on Facebook is going to see it. So when I ask the question, where are new people going to come from, if the campaign is posted on my Facebook, the answer is they're not going to come, right? And that, a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of musicians never ask that question. And they do things that they expect to go viral. There's no chance of going viral. They didn't even examine it to see if it would. But where are the new people going to come from? Why are they going to give a shit? The who gives a shit question, which is the all-important question in marketing. Stand back, you look at that email you wrote, and you say, who gives a shit? And if the answer is nobody, you got to change what you're doing. You got to change the copy or the creative or whatever you're doing until you feel like, you know what, people are going to care about this. Or at least the people who I'm going to find will care about this. And then 3, the third question, how are you going to follow back up with the people who do give a shit? Not the people who don't, because you can already do that. You run an ad, there's people who do give a shit and people who don't. They're all mixed in together. How are you going to follow back up with only the people who gave a shit? Like if I do a blog PR campaign, great. I might get tons of people on those who are readers of those blogs to give a shit, but I have no way to follow back up with them. So that's the third question. How are you going to follow back up? How are you going to get new people to see it? Why are they going to give a shit? And how are you going to talk to them after they give a shit? And so if you're just going to put your songs out on SoundCloud, where are the new people going to come from? SoundCloud? SoundCloud's not going to recommend you to like a bunch of people. It's not going to happen. So it doesn't pass the first smell test. You need to put it on Spotify. I mean, you can put it on Spotify and then you can submit 2 weeks early and then you can, through your distributor, and then 1 week before it comes out, you can submit it to Spotify for a playlist consideration, and at least it'll get on Release Radar and it might get 1 or 2 streams. And that's how they solve the cold start problem, is what they call it at Spotify. They'll give you some streams even if you have no data. But beyond that, where are new people going to come from? So I wouldn't just start posting stuff around, because marketing is how we get new people to see it. And then marketing is also how we get people to give a shit, and marketing is how we figure out how to follow back up with those people. I hope that helps. All right. This camera is blinking at me. I don't know if it's going to go off, but all right. All right, we got Sup Circa from Am Hip Hop. What's up, guy? Long time. Good to see you. All right, nope. We got a fire emoji. Are you saying this live? Yes, I am, as evidenced by the live in the top left of the window. Shawnee Matthews, have you come across niche genres so small that they present a challenge for social media audience targeting? Of course, for sure, yeah. But it's just every genre presents its own challenge. You know, there's no genre that doesn't present a challenge in social media marketing. It's just, what is the challenge? And then I'm not here to make a qualitative decision as to like which challenges are more of a pain in the ass than others. Because, for instance, let's say that there's a subsect of death metal that is guys who like wearing kilts and drinking scotch. They just love Scottish culture in their death metal, right? Let's say that that's a real thing. Let's say it represents like 5% of the death metal fan base, right? 5%, even less, 2%, right? I could still run an ad for death metal, guys in kilts, to the entire death metal population, and then only the people who actually watch it to the end are my 5 or less % of people who wear the kilts. So I can do reverse targeting to figure it out. So it's not that big of a challenge. It's just I can't just like pop in an interest and now I'm only talking to the right people. I got to figure out but we're doing that anyways. We're already running top of funnel ads with no CTA in order to single out the people who are right. So there's no challenge to go one level deeper. And chances are, no matter what your genre is, there is some population that is targetable in Facebook where at least more than 1% of those people are of that niche sort of focus. Hope that helps. Uncomely Music asks, okay, no worries. Oh, Shaping the Silence says, I'm doing my best, but it's very difficult. Love you guys. We love you. You know, if you like, I'm here to answer any questions. So if like, even personal questions. So just let me know if you need any help. I know these are difficult times for some people more than others, and there's a lot of people who have been impacted heavy by this thing that's going on. So, you know, if you need to talk, just like say something. We're here for you too. The group's here for you, and so yeah, you're not alone. Lee Denton Music says, I'll just have my lunch while I'm waiting. All right, I'm sorry. Few words about evergreen content, music videos, if good quality, and EP. If we made all promotional mistakes and now learning your material, how to re-release them again. Just treat them as new. If you had an unsuccessful marketing campaign, or like, let's take the use case of a business. I'm a business owner. I just invented this new vaporizer, right? This new vaporizer. This vaporizer is actually able to run on one battery for 1 week. Let's say I invented that, right? And then I launched it onto the world and nobody bought it. Nobody cared. People were happy with their own batteries. They weren't going to buy a new device, much less a new battery to facilitate this new ability. They didn't give a shit. Okay, now let's ask, how can I relaunch that? However I want. No one knows about it, right? And I usually phrase this as like, how many fans do you want to have in the end? 1 million? 100,000? Okay, how many do you have now? Okay, subtract that number from the number you want to end up at. That's how many people don't know yet. So just dust it off, treat it like new, and launch it again. Nobody, there's not going to be an article about it. No one's going to write a blog about how you pull the old switcheroo and re-release the record. No. You know, so if you're at that stage where it still doesn't really matter, then it doesn't matter. If you have 10,000, 20,000 people who like had some exposure to the original launch, and they're going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Then yeah. It seems like that's not the case. You made all the promotional mistakes. So I don't think that's the case. But if it were the case, then I would just add some bonus content to it and re-release it and treat it like new. But if anyone asks, if anyone like in that original population is like, what are you doing? And be like, I added new shit to it, and no one, we're trying to get it out to a wider audience, guy. Come on. So that's my advice. I really hope that helps. K to Z asks, just got to say the setup is amazing. I'm glad you like it. I worked hard on it. it might not seem like this, but I have 2 lights going right now. So I'm glad it's good. Thank you so much for the compliment, man. Marvin Glover asked, good question. Oh, okay, got you. The last question was good. All right, cool. So that concludes the YouTube chat questions for now. I just got to go to the new YouTube chat real quick. We're making good time. I didn't think we were going to get through all these questions because it's usually like just, it's not that many people in here usually who need it on a week-to-week basis. Oh, there's more. I was wrong. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. Warm post suggestions until the training comes out, please. Go to the ground report on it. There's a ground report on it. If you go into your Indie Pro member area, click ground reports. There's an hour-long training from Corinne on Greenlight warmth boosting. So I hope that helps. Uncomely Music. If YouTube channel was dead for years, better to keep it or make a new one and re-upload music videos again with all your knowledge, better for algorithm. Thank you. No, keep it. Re-uploading, this is the thing. What's changed? What has changed? Is it that you now have like a huge budget to do a gigantic marketing push, and you're probably going to get these videos pretty huge, and if they're old, then the algorithm will be like, why are these old videos? Like, the algorithm doesn't care if they're old, ultimately. The algorithm cares if people are using it. So, for instance, let's say I did a talk about coronavirus in 2012 after the SARS epidemic, and now that video is popping off. Do you think YouTube's not going to recommend it to people? They're going to recommend it because it's relevant. If it's relevant and people are using it, then they're going to recommend it. That's how the algorithm works. So there's no benefit to like treating things as old or new. No social media. Think about this. How many memes or rumors have you seen get sparked back up after they died 3 years ago and everyone's never seen them before and they're treating them as new? Right? Doesn't that happen like every month? People just kick up an old meme and they're like, what? This is hilarious. And it's like, this is 5 years old. There is no age on the internet. That's like I'm not going to make the obvious joke here. There's no age on the internet to content. Content doesn't get old. It's not a human being. Don't worry about if it's old or new. Don't worry about taking down or re-uploading things. These are all trivial activities that are not going to really move the needle for you. Shaping the Silence asks, hey Kyle, I just launched my first fan finder this weekend and it's been blowing up. Hell yes. Really excited about this. What I want to know is what is the best next step? I already have an album and CDs. You can make a sales offer in the comments if you want to, but ultimately it depends on where you're at. If you've already got your album and CDs and you've been making music for a while, then you might already have a fan base and you can start kicking up the online sales. But if you don't already have a fan base, then I would spend as much time as you can building up that fan base before monetizing. I'm not saying spend like your life in obscurity. I'm just saying, like, is it that crazy to spend a year just figuring out who your fans are and talking to them, and just spending like low manageable monthly budgets on social ads? That's not crazy, right? We can do that. So that's what I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend jumping to the next step. Would the next step be an opt-in campaign? I also have a Twitch stream that I run every day or two doing music production and live performance, and a YouTube channel I upload to weekly. Sounds like you've already got an audience. If that's the case, I would just go to opt-in campaigns. Yes. But if you don't have an audience yet, or no one's checking out your Twitch, and no one's watching your YouTube videos, then use social advertising to start getting attention on that content, and then start talking to the people who actually like it. Have conversations with them in the comments, in Messenger if they message you. However you can, talk to them, learn about them, write down what you learn, write down their words into a spreadsheet and store it for copy later on. Ask them what they would like from you, learn that, and then offer it to them. And that's a much better way to run an opt-in than just assuming what they're gonna like. Okay. Valley Mountain Band, Windbreaker, cool. It's actually a Bad Brains Windbreaker, Positive Mental Attitude. That's what we got, guys. Positive Mental Attitude. Shout outs, Bad Brains, and thank you, Valley Mountain Band. Shaping the Silence. Wait, where are people asking these questions? I'm an Indie Pro, but I'm not in the Indie Pro group. Shaping the Silence. These questions are being asked from all over. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, our Facebook page, our 2 Facebook groups, the Indie Pro group, everywhere. The live streams are public for the month of April. So guys, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Instagram, live streams Monday at 1:30 and Wednesday at 2. until the end of April. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, live streams Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time till the end of April, where I'll answer your questions. By God, I will answer your questions. Justin Robinson asks, can digital goods serve as tripwires? Very markety lingo, guy. Considering a low-cost $10 members-only area where fans have access to full discography downloads, plus future releases, new music every month, and behind-the-scenes content. This kid's screwed in. I like what he's thinking. Yeah, Justin, that's a great tripwire. It's a bit ambitious, and it almost doesn't pass the who cares test because you got downloads in there. I wouldn't make that the main sell. I'd make the main sell something else, and downloads are just like bonus value. But that's a great idea. Okay, we lost battery. Give me 1 second, guys. Me still? All right, cool. Sorry about that, gang. It says change the battery pack on the YouTube stream. That's hilarious. Guys, the battery pack has been changed. It's coming back. All right, so where were we at? Oh, yeah, Justin Robinson. I like the idea. I like digital memberships. They're typically something for a deeper stage of connection. So you really need fans who care. You really need fans who care if they're going to be interested in it. But it's cool. People are also shook by monthly memberships sometimes. So as long as they dig your shit and they're really invested, then yeah, that's a great tripwire. Awesome. And low impact to you unless you have trouble creating content. All right. Vapor Trails asks, YouTube is the #1 music streaming platform. Do you have any advice or training for YouTube? Not yet, but let me check out the training schedule real quick. We have a training called Google Ads for Musicians coming out later this year, and it's going to have a full module on YouTube, I believe. Upcoming trainings and resources. Google Ads for Musicians will be released October 1st. And we'll probably have some ground reports about it before then because I'm going to be doing some testing. Corinne's going to be doing some testing. And yeah, we'll have some information about it out. That said, it's a bit of a misnomer that YouTube is the #1 streaming platform in the entire world because YouTube is the streaming platform of preference for those who don't have access to premium media streaming. So it's free. It's kind of hard to say that it's like the #1 streaming platform. It's free. Like, you know? Water's the #1 drink. What are we saying here? You know what I mean? It's kind of a misnomer. Plus, the biggest YouTube channel in the entire world is an Indian record label. And unless you make, Bollywood music, like, that's not relevant to you. So, people tout that a lot. The only reason I'm being kind of a dick about it is because people say, like, well, YouTube's the #1 music streaming platform in the world. In like the middle of a discussion about, marketing on like marketing channels and platforms and the differences between them. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but it's not relevant to the conversation. So I'm sorry about my attitudes towards them, not you. Hope that helps. But training will be coming. Okay, we got a lot of questions about... I'm going to go back to Instagram real quick. Hi, Cirque. My first FF was a rocking song and a weird video. I love that video, Wands. That's a crazy video. Katie Thompson asks, hey, Circa, I'm releasing a track that's been in the vault for years. It's a Stevie Nicks cover, and there's a music video. I'd love to hear some ideas on what I could do to promote it. I I mean, you could as long as you have mechanicals on it, then you have some backup if Facebook strikes you down. I would run Fan Finder to Stevie Nicks fans. Is that not as out of left field as you might have been hoping? Said the obvious thing, but that's kind of what I would do if I were in your position. Andre Johnson said, "I'm GOAT." I don't know, dude. I'll have to hear those bars before I co-sign that. Kayleen Music Official asks, "Hey, Cirque, so I'm in the process of making an EP. I have 2 singles out now for that EP, but I don't have videos for them. Should I create videos for those songs first before finishing my EP?" I like to have video content. I like to have more video content than I need, as evidenced by the fact that I keep filling up 4 terabyte hard drives. I keep eating them. I like to have more video content than I need because this is a video marketing world we're living in now. No one cares about images or audio. It's video. I mean, people do care. I'm being hyperbolic, but video, obviously, we're watching video all day. We're consuming video or we're making videos. It's video. Video is the future and the present. So I like to have some video content to accompany any single release. It's very difficult to market a single with no video. If there's no associated video assets for a single campaign or like some song you're releasing, it's tough to market that. How are you going to market it? Who's going to care? You know, video is impactful because no one has to take an action to consume the content. It's usually on the platform they're already on, and it's usually auto-playing. So they don't have to make a conscious decision in order to start engaging in something that they've never seen before. And that's why video is really powerful for marketing and turning people on to new ideas. Juan said, "Yikes, comment length limit here." Yeah. Can you speak on why we are more about Spotify users as opposed to Apple? Thanks. Spotify has more recommendation features built into it. Apple does a great job of recommending, but their models for doing so are outdated. Spotify, if you're a machine learning engineer, you work at Spotify or you work at like Facebook or Instagram or maybe YouTube. Like there's not a whole lot of places for machine learning engineers to work, but one of the main places that machine learning engineers not only learn from but work at doesn't even represent 1/10 of the revenue of the nearest next neighbor in that category. Pretty weird, right? Spotify cares a lot about machine learning. They care a lot about discovery. And that's why we talk about Spotify more than we talk about Apple, because Apple does not care about Apple Music. If you're out there and you think that Apple's competing with Spotify, stop it now, guy. Stop it. Stop that. Spotify and Apple Music do not compete. They're not competitors. Apple, did you know that AirPods represent more money than Spotify and like 5 other similar companies combined? AirPods makes more money than that. So Apple doesn't care about Apple Music, and they certainly don't care about Spotify. And they're not probably going to develop Apple Music because at the end of the day, it's just a nicety that they hand off to users of their ecosystem. They don't care. They don't need it to be the best music discovering platform in the world. They don't even need it to be the best streaming platform. They don't care because they're just making money hand over fist on other shit. This is just something they're doing for their users. Instagram's about to end. I'll be back up live. Damn it, I'm going to miss all these questions. If you ask a question, come back into the next Instagram and I'll answer it. But I'm going to miss all these questions. All right. Now it's just us, YouTube. Here we go. Back at it again with the Instagram Live. Here we go. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, cool. So those Instagram questions are gone now. They're gone. If you were on the last Instagram session and your question got deleted, ask it again. I'll answer it. Okay, let's go back to YouTube. Hi, Circa. How are you? I am well. Thank you, Lucas. Do you still recommend the method of a landing page that automatically redirects to the Spotify profile? Is Facebook still allowing it? No, they're not, and no, I don't. I recommend that you What you do is you run your direct to Spotify campaigns with no interstitial page, just direct to Spotify until you've dialed in your audiences and creative and you've got a consistent result. And now you say, okay, I've got my best performing audiences, my best performing ads for cost per click. I know they work well. Now I want to improve upon that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the link on the ad to go to a bridge page that has a button on it, because Facebook's not going to allow you to do redirects. I didn't know at the time, but they don't allow it. I got one of my ad accounts disabled temporarily. So you run, once you've got your ad campaign dialed in, you change the link to a bridge page that has a button on it to go to Spotify. Most people will never click that button. They'll never do it. But you can get 1,000 visitors to that page and then create a lookalike audience and then stop running ads to that page. So I hope that helps. Okay. Louis T asks, hey Kyle, I'm thinking of rerunning an album launch experience. We ran it successfully a couple of years ago, but then stopped putting out music for a year. Would you have any advice for rerunning album launch campaign? Treat it, just use the same assets and treat it as if it's new. Just treat it as if it's new. Because all my advice could more easily be said if I were to say, act as if it's new. That's it. That's all you got to do. Except now you have the added advantage of having already created all that stuff. So I hope that helps. Clover's Revenge. We only release singles on Spotify to help promote CD sales. Apple Music makes it impossible now to link to iTunes via mobile. Do you recommend just putting it on Apple Music along with iTunes? iTunes no longer exists. What? iTunes shut down, right? Guys, verify this for me. iTunes is dead. iTunes will shut down at the end of the fiscal year on March 31st, 2019. Yeah, iTunes is gone. There's no more iTunes. So I don't understand the question. But let me see if I can pull an answer out here. I mean, put your music on Apple Music and Spotify. I could more easily answer this by just saying, if you don't have your music on all streaming, just do it. Like, what are you proving? What are you going to gain? I don't think that iTunes exists. I think it's all Apple Music now. You sell downloads through Apple Music. If you Google iTunes shut down, you'll find verifiable proof that it did indeed shut down. I mean, am I taking crazy pills here? Just let me verify that. Apple is shutting down iTunes. Yeah. Guys, what? The iTunes shutdown is imminent on Mac at least. All right, well, they're in the process of shutting it down. It's going to be gone. So put it on Apple Music. Put it on Spotify. Oh, got you. Thank you very much. ADHD Lullaby. Nice handle. All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, put it everywhere. Why not? Why not do it? It's not like people are going to be like, oh, I was going to give you money for a record, but your shit's on streaming. I'm just going to stream it. It's like people immediately check if it's on streaming. They don't find out after they were considering a purchasing decision. All purchasing decisions are with full knowledge that they could just listen to it for free. So if you're trying to gate it, like you're on the wrong side of history. Clover's Revenge said, I know those guys in kilts. I knew it was a real thing. Sean Rosenboim asks, I'm working with a musician who is also a fulfillment coach. We are about to launch a grassroots of a personal branding product as we believe that the ultimate album launch method works for all. That's interesting. I'm interested to see how that pans out. What are the biggest 3 adjustments you'd have made if you would do that in terms of strategy? I would truncate the introduction. You don't need introduction if you're doing a product that solves a problem. So personal branding product, right? You're going to help people brand themselves personally. Just target people who seem like they're going to want to do that, entrepreneurs. And then make them an offer that is relevant to the problem that they're having, which is they don't know how to brand themselves personally. They see Gary Vee, they see all these people out there, but they don't know how to do it. Okay, well, you're going to show them how to do it. You're going to help them do it. So there need be no introduction. That is the introduction. You got this problem? I solved that problem. Hi. Just make some compelling content on the front end that leads to a click, that leads somewhere that's meaningful to what you're doing. That would be the adjustment, is to just lop off the introduction. Don't worry about fan finders. Go straight for opt-in. And then you can probably run it evergreen from the jump, because everyone's doing that. Everyone's doing it. Just run it evergreen. Like, don't have a time limit. I mean, you can. It's a great exercise to do, but have the plan of turning it evergreen eventually. Okay. Oh, yeah. Full-length green-light warmth boosting is going to start being published by the end of this week. We're going to start getting it up into the training area by the end of this week. We had scheduled to have it out March 1st. Got a little bit knocked off by the lockdown. But green-light warmth boosting is coming out, guys. What are some ideas for FanFinder ads for producer/beat maker? I went through FanFinder training multiple times, but I have no good ideas on a brand awareness ads. For a producer or beat maker, you need to make a beat in front of people. Take your best production, deconstruct it so that you can play it. I don't care if you only have like a keyboard and a mic or an interface. Like, figure out how you're going to, okay, we've got 4 bars. I'm laying down the drum. And the next 4 bars, we're laying down bass. And the next 4 bars, we're adding a lead. Next 4 bars, we're adding some fills. Like, keep it going. Keep adding layers every 4 bars until you have a full production. And then bring it all down. And have someone film you doing this, obviously, with like a gimbal preferably, or a stabilized iPhone, the new iPhone. And then once you've got it all built up that quickly, bring it all down and build back up with filters. And people will enjoy it as long as you have an energetic performance and there's motion and there's you moving from thing to thing to start up the next 4 bars. People are going to love that. Go look at French Kiwi Juice, FKJ. Go look at his videos. They're super exciting. And you should not be short of ideas as a producer beat maker. Look, you might have to step outside your comfort zone, because I've heard producers saying, but I don't make beats in 4-bar increments on loops. And it's like, nobody does. No one does it. You do it for the content, you know? Like, I don't hang around in my office with gigantic lights facing me. It's for the content. Do it for the content. So yeah, if you've got that problem of like, oh, my beats aren't like that, make them like that. Go into your sessions, deconstruct them, figure out how you're going to perform them. Because that's all that stands in between you and people going like, this guy's sick. Random people. So that should be an exciting motivator. I hope that helps, Rich. Q&A every Wednesday in April. That's correct, Uncomely Music. Q&A every Wednesday, April. Actually, there's going to be audit sessions. So Q&A this week, audit session next week, Q&A this week, audit session the next week. Public, free, during April. Okay, we got some more questions here in Instagram. Jeepers Creepers. Watched Corinne's Corner the other day. It was really great. Are you using a similar approach with your relaunch? We are not, because Corinne is further ahead than I am in terms of building out her buddy system and with her audience. So she's targeting different stages of the buddy system. She is doing a little bit of introduction, but I'm doing only introduction and education. No permission until the end of the year. So different tracks. Is there a microphone that you recommend for Android users to make videos? Depends on what phone you have, because your phone is probably the best mic. I mean, anything that I could recommend below $100 is like a lateral move compared to your phone mic. Plus, your phone, depending on the phone you have, the company that built it put in software to make this shitty phone mic sound a lot better. And that's probably going to be your best bet. It depends on what videos you're trying to make. There are world famous viral, not music videos, but performance videos that are like an iPhone 7 mic, you know? So I don't think that's a limitation, but you can try out the SmartLav Plus by Rode, but it's probably not going to be like any better than your phone mic. Single month with big release at the end, all while running fan finders. Oh, produced by Coops had a question. A single a month with big release at the end, all running for. No. I'm going to be doing like singles per week, 2 weeks. Anytime I finish a song, when Cup gives me a finished mix, I'm going to hop over to this computer right over here, that desk over there, that station, and I'm going to open up all of the footage that I have of us making those songs, and I'm going to create some visuals, and then the next day, I'm going to start doing the marketing for it. And I'm going to upload it to DistroKid, and I'm going to get started. So I'm going to be dropping shit as it finishes. I don't have a schedule. I'm just going like, as soon as we have something, I have all the footage. Like, let's go market it. Let's go now. So I don't really have as like structured a thing. I'm trying to get 30 singles out by the end of the year, and I'm trying to release video content, multiple pieces of video content across social, YouTube, everywhere with it. And that's as far as I've planned out. But it's working out. We're getting the content, so I think it's gonna be great. Becoming Young asks, what is a great cost per click for IG story ads targeted at cold traffic in the USA? What about cost per click for warm traffic? Don't ask people for benchmarks. This is the thing, because for one ad account, if we got a 1 cent cost per click, we'd be horrified. And for another ad account, if we got a 1 cent cost per click, we'd have a literal party. Like, we'd have to celebrate. So it really is context dependent. How long have you been advertising? What's your music like? What's the world like right now? What time of year is it? What time of day is it? How much is your budget? How old are you? Where do you live in the world? All of these things go into what your benchmark cost per click should be. Nobody can tell you, oh, your CPC should be this. I can tell you how low video views can get or how low cost per clicks can get, but what it should be for you is entirely context dependent and subjective. Don't ask people for benchmarks, or you're going to get them from people who suck, and they're going to lead you the wrong way. So don't ask people for benchmarks, because there are people who suck out there who will be like, I can get you this. This is a great cost per click, and buy my $1,000 training on how to get it. So you're likely to fall for that kind of thing if you're out there looking for benchmarks. That said, IG story ads targeted at cold traffic in the USA for what? To go to Spotify? If it's to go to Spotify and you are a lo-fi hip hop artist, should be able to get them below 10 cents. I can answer you that. If it's clicks to Spotify and you're a nutcase soul blues singer, then it should be less than 10 cents. But if you're not that, I don't know, man. There's so much that goes into it. Benchmarks are not a good idea. CPC for warm traffic from story ads, no idea. Probably higher than the cold, but better quality. I hope that helps. John Triaci Music asks, what you mentioned about YouTube not being the best streaming platform, are you basically saying that we should be directing customers towards platforms that are actually going to generate revenue? YouTube generates revenue. So does Spotify. Not very well. None of them generate revenue very well unless you have a huge audience. So at the end of the day, if your goal is not a huge audience, then yeah, there's no point in being on them. But if that's your goal, then it's kind of like a prerequisite, right? So I'm not saying anything about what the best. There is no best streaming platform. There's no best social media network, right? There is no best way to market. Try it all. The cornucopia, the spice of life. Try it all. Try everything you can. Be on all platforms that are feasible for you to be on, where you can do really well on, or all the platforms that you like being on. There's no reason to exclude or include a platform or, a social media network or a strategy or an idea ad hoc. Don't ad hoc exclude or include things ever. That was kind of an ad hoc exclusion, but you get my point. Be on YouTube, by the way. I'm not saying don't be on YouTube. If that's what you got out of that, that's crazy. Don't not be on YouTube. If you like being on YouTube and you consume YouTube, be on YouTube. None of these things are going to pay your rent for quite some time if you're at the stage of, which platform should I be on? you have a long way towards any of them paying your rent. So don't worry about it. Sample all of them. See what you like really well. Oh, I popped off on TikTok. My personality works on there. Great. But if you had never tried TikTok because you're ad hoc excluding things, you'd never know. So don't participate in that conversation. iTunes still exists. Yes, I read that. People can still purchase downloads. Good to know that iTunes hasn't shut down yet, but they will. Ryan Rubato asks, I mean, whether it did or it didn't, no one's really buying music like that. Go for streams. That's true. Good call. You mentioned in your fan finder to never stop a campaign. When you cap on your budget, how does the campaign not stop? I don't know what that means. But I just mean don't stop a campaign for like no reason. Because when you stop it, it's gonna relearn when you turn it back on. If it's a video views campaign, it doesn't matter. It's gonna take 2 seconds to do that. But if it's a traffic campaign or worse, a conversions campaign, turning it off for a second can be a bad decision. So titrate budget down. The lowering budget, this is the thing, right? I understand the question, I think. So let's say, right, I'm running an ad at $20 a day. And Facebook's machine learning algorithm has decided for me, hey, out of all the people that you're targeting, this little narrow circle, these are the people who cost $20. These are the bids you can win. These guys are too expensive. These ones are too cheap and they won't get you the result that you want. This is your sweet spot right here. These are $20 a day budget people. They're going to get you conversions at your budget and you're going to be good. Okay. Then you go to zero. And Facebook's like, I don't know. And then you turn it back on and Facebook's like, all right, we're going to have to start with everybody again and figure out what's going on here. But right next to your $20 a day people are your $19 a day people. Some of them are the same people. So if you're titrating down the budget incrementally, you're not violently shifting the targeting window, the optimized CPM of Facebook. You're doing it gradually. And that's why it's different than just stopping cold. Facebook still is targeting most of the $20 people, but now a couple new people. And it's adjusting to that. And it's less of a shock to the system than everybody's new, figure it out, Facebook. So that's why. I hope that helps. All right, let's go back to YouTube real quick. It's 3:20. All right, I'm going to go until like 3:45. And then I do have to get some videos edited. What kind of cost per 75 view numbers you consider as good numbers for a fan finder? Below a cent. Or I'm sorry, per 75% view. All right. So let's say we want 0.5 of a cent or a half a cent for a 3-second view. Or even a 10-second. Okay, from 3 seconds to 25%, 90% of the people are going to leave, right? So we have to times that amount by 10 to get our cost per 25% view. Because 90% of the whole is going to leave. And we were left with only 10%. So timesing 0.5 cents by 10 equals 5 cents. Then to get from 25% to 50%, you're probably going to lose about half of your people, 50%. So we need to times it by 2 again, 10 cents. Then to get to 75%, we need to times it by 2 again, 20 cents. Anything below 20 cents, pretty good. Pretty good. What camera are you using to live stream on YouTube? Right now we're using the Canon EOS R, but I usually use a GH5S. I really like GH5s, but I like the dual pixel autofocus here. I can put it in front of my face, and it's going to focus on my calloused hand. Oh, my God. And then when I bring it away, it's going to focus right on my eyes. So I like the autofocus. And the colors on Canon are great. Look at these colors. I didn't have to do nothing to this image. It's great. I look way better than I actually do. So that's the camera. Apple ADHD Lullaby said, no, Apple is not shutting down iTunes. Everyone on Facebook and YouTube, come with me, okay? Let's go to scene 2 where we have our screen share, and let's just Google iTunes shutting down. Can the people on Facebook and YouTube tell me what Tech Radar says about iTunes shutting down? And then tell me if CNBC said the same thing, if Digital Music News said the same thing, if Geek.com said the same thing. I think I know what I'm talking about, HDH Lullaby. I think I know what I'm talking about here. Because I Googled it while I was on the live stream. So don't question. No, I'm just kidding. They are shutting down. I'm sorry, but they are. Jensen B says, how do you suggest someone makes money with music if their music is not necessarily performance-based and therefore won't have that show money to go along with merch? There are tons of people who don't tour. There are tons of people who don't perform live. But generally, if you just want to make music, I would get into I wouldn't try to build an audience because you don't like being the center of attention. And building an audience is only for that. So I would recommend getting into sync. Get into sync, get into songwriting, get into producing, and not producing like beat making, I mean like actually producing. So one of the things that I have done professionally as a musician is manage sync projects for sync aggregators. Like MusicBed and Killer Tracks are in the US, you got Audio Network in the UK, there's probably more. I'm just not aware of them. But I just haven't run a search. I could go search and find probably more. So there's aggregators who are willing to pay you an upfront fee so that you can get the songs done, pay you a back end when the songs are delivered, and then pay you more back end when the songs are placed and synced. And I get checks from BMI for being on Telemundo a lot. We had a song on Big Mouth, the Netflix show. We've had songs on all manner of trashy MTV and A&E shows. So, got a lot of placements. And that's like literally all I did on those projects was I managed the project. I chose the songwriters and the producers and I managed it. I just made sure they showed up at the sessions. I made sure the songs were there. I made sure that the contracts got signed. That's it. But I have credits on all those songs. I didn't write a lick. I didn't write a note. I don't know Spanish. So there are tons of things to do in the music industry that don't involve being the center of attention. You could have been a producer on that project. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't recommend building an audience if you're not performance-based because this is a performance. What you do on videos is a performance. And then what you do on stage is a performance. So if you're not into performance, you're doing the wrong thing. Don't try to build an audience. Try to build contacts in the sync and songwriting and production world. That's what I would recommend. No one is paying the $1.29. Yeah, I would agree. ADHD Lullaby, you don't need to tell me that people still purchase digital and physical music. I'm that dude. Okay? I'm with you. I know they do. Does having a FB Live home set that important? FB Live home set, is it that important to building an audience or do we just play anywhere and show our music? You don't need a set. This isn't a set. I don't have like cool succulents on shelves behind me, You don't need a set. You need a big ass window and a phone. And that's it. Big ass window, sunlight, phone. You got everything you need. So yeah, do media, do content, guy. Oh God. Or yeah, guy. I almost called a lady guy, but it's not a lady. Greasy Cupid, if you run FF over the course of 6 months to 1 year, are those VV from months ago still relevant for opt-in campaigns, or do you retarget them with more FF over the course of those months till you make an opt-in? The people who I create the people who are actually fans from my fan finders, I do target them, but I don't need to because they're going to check it out. My live streams on my Facebook page now, anytime I post a video on my Facebook page, it gets a lot more reach than I would have anticipated, and it's all the people who dig it. Facebook's doing a rock and roll great job of finding my people and giving them my content. And they're in audiences for tons of videos now. So, I mean, at a year, I will be at that limit of a year, but I'm not too worried about it because the people who are actually, I'm having daily conversations with people who are fans now. I'm not worried about losing people, really. If I lose someone out of all the things I'm doing this year, I don't want them. They're not right. They're not the right people. So I'm not too worried about that. I hope that helps. Emily Morell asked, maybe I'm missing something. I asked a question at the top of the hour via the pro group email link. If you have a second, can you look back over there? Or hi. Hey, Emily. I have two questions as I'm working through the ads module of the album launch training. One, in the videos you mentioned that you have 2 ad sets to test dynamic creative images against videos, but it seems like maybe that's changed and now you can do it all at once. Yeah, I think you can. I think that's right. And then 2, similarly, you talk about being able to optimize a conversions campaign for link clicks and conversions. Seems like this is no longer an option. That's also true. And I think it's not because they don't want you to have that option. I think it's because it's just a natural consequence of conversions campaigns. I think conversions campaigns are so smart now that you don't necessarily, like, just because you're not getting the target conversion doesn't mean that Facebook doesn't know that link clicks are valid for finding the right people, that, you know, any page views that you get from the pixel, those are also valid. So I don't think you need the conversions necessarily, or the traffic, then conversions. I think conversions campaigns are traffic campaigns or page view campaigns until you get conversions, and that's when it kicks in. I hope that helps. French kiwi juice. That's right, Rich. French kiwi juice. Fucking amazing. Is it a good idea to take off our... Oh, wait, I answered your question, and now you're taking from people who need their questions answered. So I'm going to skip your questions. If I've already answered one of your questions, there's more people who need questions answered, and it's not fair to them. ADHD Lullaby is just contrarian Chris over here. Just can't help it. All right. Okay, how low can they get? What's something to strive for? Yeah, stories ads direct to Spotify can get as low as 5 cents a click or lower. Cost per follower can get as low as like 10 cents, 8 cents, if you're tracking that. So I hope that helps, but there's not, like, benchmarks, you know, they're bad. I don't mean to be a dick about this, but they're just bad idea. Thanks, Circa. So I've already got 2 full albums worth of music finished, but I have literally 0 video content. My bad. Would you recommend the live performance videos as my main content throughout FF? Yeah, but also talk to people. Like, there's really, like, go look at some of my content from last year. It's literally, they set up a camera this way. The guy's sitting there. He asked me a question about the song we just recorded, and I answer it candidly. And that is enough content, there's enough footage to edit together a really emotional content piece. So literally, if you just set up a camera roughly here, and then a light that's like maybe, okay, so if this camera's right here, and the light is like roughly over here or over here, and then you pretend that someone just asked you a question, answer the question, and then use that as your footage. And you can make tons of great content around your songs. Just answer, like, tell people about them. People don't just want to hear songs or watch music videos. They want to know what's behind the songs. They want to learn more about the songs. So give them that information. And that's great content. Okay. What sites, companies are you talking about? You're a little late, guy. Oh, shit, we're on screen share on Facebook and IG. Guys, how long were you on there, huh? Okay. I think that's it, gang. Illumination Project. I think you skipped my question earlier, which is okay. Sorry, TJ, but I'd love to answer it now. Last question. But I would love to know more about the switch to the EOS R and whether you are still using OBS or not. I'm on OBS right now. OBS is going to caster.io, which is restreaming out to our Facebook page and our YouTube. The Facebook is reposted in our Indies group and Indie Pro and the Indie Pro group. And then I'm also on Instagram right now. So that's the deal, Teej. Now, as for the EOS R, I actually got a chance to just use an EOS R with a dope lens, so I'm taking advantage of it. I don't know. I'm definitely going to buy a Canon camera later in the year, though, when the Canon R5 comes out. If any of you guys out there are camera nerds, the R5 is going to be intense. This is not my EOS R, so I'm not switching to the EOS R. I'm a GH5 guy all the way until that R5 comes out. And then it's out of here, Panasonic. It's been nice, but I got to check out that 8K. So, yeah, I'm not using YouTube Studio, though. OBS. OBS all the way. All right. And that's it, gang. Quazel. I see you, Quazel. Did you have a question that I missed? Let me know, because I'm about to get out of here. I'm about to leave. All right. You've got a limited amount of time, Quazel. Anyways, I'm going to be back here Monday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm going to be back on or someone from our staff. I think Corinne is next. Might be Jack. Will be on next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be an audit session. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to bring your ads, your emails, your websites, your songs, your videos. And we're going to check them out, and we're going to give you advice on them. Unless they're so good that we're like, I don't know how I would improve this. And then we'll just be like, you are a god. And we will give you some kind of trophy. You guys all rock. Thank you so much for your questions. Stay inside. Don't buck this trend. Let's isolate. Let's be indoor kids. Let's be on our laptops, getting work done. And I love you guys. I will see you next Monday on Instagram. I won't be doing that on Facebook or YouTube. It's just Instagram. Hit us up at Indepreneur on Instagram, and I will be live streaming on Monday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time to answer your questions.